24/7 Sports updated their basketball recruiting rankings on Tuesday, and two Illini got some significant bumps, including one into the top 10. Locked on Illini, let's go.
You are Locked on Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another episode of Locked on Illini. Thank you for making us your first listen every single day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. My name is Sonny Verma. You can find me on Twitter at IlliniCask. If you're enjoying the content I'm providing you every single day, I have merely a simple request. If you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And a little secret, if you're not a part of the Discord, now is a good time as any, because there's a couple of announcements that are going to be coming up, which it's going to be exclusive to that community, which for now you can join for absolutely free. So definitely try to join the Discord. Today's show is going to be a good one. On Tuesday, 24/7 Sports re-updated their basketball rankings for the class of 2025, and both Jeremiah Fears, who's already a confirmed commit to the Illini, and Will Riley, a potential commit, had some significant jumps. Jeremiah Fears jumped 4 spots from 42 to 38, mainly due just to his outstanding play this spring. At the EYBL, he averaged 17 a game, shooting 42%. He's a guy who is getting noticed by the public, by the national media, and his play for the U.S. team, while he wasn't on the court as much as he probably wanted to, I think he kind of held up his own, especially considering he was one of the younger players on the team. The other noteworthy player, obviously, is Will Riley. Will Riley is going to be making his announcement on Sunday, June 23rd, on where he's going to be going. He shot up, I believe, 12 spots into the top 10. I believe he's at number 9 now. Again, this is 2025. And most of the information we've gathered at this point sounds like Will Riley is going to be reclassifying to 2024. Now, what does that mean? That means he probably wouldn't be a top 10 prospect in 2024, but my guess is he would certainly still be a 5-star and one of the highest, if not the highest recruit Illinois has gotten in a very long time. Now, I know some of you are going to be wondering and kind of want an update on what I've heard about the Will Riley situation, and it's a positive one for Illinois. The Arizona folks, as I mentioned, are a little less enthusiastic about getting Will Riley to commit to them on this upcoming Sunday. As I mentioned on the last episode that we discussed Riley, Will and Tommy Lloyd had a call over Zoom. Conversations are still happening, but I don't think Arizona is going to pony up the way Illinois and Brad Underwood and Icon are going to be able to. Now, again, I'm going to be monitoring the situation on Sunday. If there's any news breaking, I will come on live. So definitely hit that notification button, hit that, subscribe button, just so you don't miss anything. But if I had to guess, a week ago, my guess would be 7 out of 10. My confidence level in Will Riley coming to the Illini today, as of this recording, I'd probably say it's about 8, maybe even 8.5 out of 10. So there's a good chance that this weekend that the Illini are going to have some very good news. Just the idea of, and I mentioned this before, Will Riley, Morez Johnson, and KJ as 3 freshmen in one freshman class is just something we should be absolutely stoked for. I don't want people sleeping on Jeremiah Fears, though. I know right now the excitement is about Will Riley, but Jeremiah jumping into the top 40 is also pretty big news in itself. He really seems to be locked in on improving the defensive side of his game, which, again, with the Brad Underwood team, would be a huge step up in trying to get playing time as a freshman. We know we're not really going to have to worry about the offensive side with Jeremiah Fears. As I'll go ahead and read a scouting report from Brandon Jenkins of 24/7 Sports. Fears is the younger brother of Michigan State point guard Jeremy Fears, but plays an entirely different brand of basketball. He is a smooth and confident scorer who has no problem finding his own offense within the flow of the game. A combination guard with a score-first mindset, Fears is at his best in a secondary ball handling role where he can primarily focus on making shots and creating for himself off the bounce. He is talented with the ball in his hands and has a creative enough handle to break defenders down to get to his pull-up game. Now, Fears, again, he's at 38 now, and he's still got another year to go. So the potential for him to rise even higher. Now, keep in mind, he's already pretty high. Fears, if he stepped foot on campus tomorrow, would be the 5th highest composite rated recruit that Illinois has had. That in itself is a win. It's just funny, he'd be behind guys like Ayo, Morez Johnson, guys who all were recruited by Brad Underwood, which again, I know I've keep repeating myself on the show, but it just shows you that Brad Underwood and, now that he's got Orlando Antigua back, we have Tim Anderson, Jeff Alexander. These guys are bringing in top premium talent to Illinois of the likes that we've never seen before. And this is not something that we should be taking for granted. Times are good. I've said that even about next year's team. Now, granted, last year's team, led by Tanner Shannon Jr. and Marcus Damask, was one of my favorite teams I've ever watched. Maybe second or third favorite all time. But I'm actually really looking forward to seeing next year's team. And that's knowing that it probably won't have the ceiling that last year's team did. I don't think next year's team, as built, is old enough to make an Elite Eight run or contend for the Big Ten championship. But I think there's going to be a lot of talent on the floor, and I think there's going to be a lot of nights where you and I, Illini fans, are going to look at each other when a certain play is made, that we're going to be able to really see how bright the future of this basketball team is. And that is thanks to one Brad Underwood. Speaking of that team, though, right after this, the Illini men's basketball team released a short video clip on social media of the guys working out, and it's one of the older players on the team who was showing a improved skill set that had people talking. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED lights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Before I get started on this next segment, I want to give a shout out to Bill, Steve, John, Gregory. I appreciate your comments on the last video. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know what kind of shows you want. I love the conversation, the community. Again, if you guys aren't in the Discord yet, please join. We can kind of banter back and forth every single day, and you can kind of have a more direct line of communication. Now, I do want to start talking about early on Tuesday. I believe it was on Tuesday. Early Tuesday, the Illini men's basketball team released a video of the men's basketball team essentially just having a practice. Now, you saw Kylan Boswell prominently shown. You saw Ty Rogers. You saw Trey White. And you saw bits and pieces of some of the other players, including Jake Davis. But there's two things that really stood out to me. One was Kylan Boswell's physique. I think this guy is going to surprise a lot of people. Now, as some of you know, because of this whole Will Riley situation, I've kind of gotten to know some of the folks on the Arizona side. And so I've kind of seen what their fans have been saying about different topics, especially in regards to Illinois. By the way, not very favorable. Why? I don't know. But one of the things is they don't seem to be very disappointed that Kylan Boswell left. They actually think we're the ones that are in for a rude awakening. And I'm just going to say I simply disagree. I actually think Kylan Boswell might end up being better than even Illini fans are projecting him out to be. He only got here, I think, 6 or 7 weeks ago, and he's been working out with Fletch every single day. He's made a concerted effort. The Illini have wanted to make him a little more slender and quicker with the ball, and he hasn't backed down from the challenges from Fletch and the dietitians that we have on campus. He wants to be a better player. Keep in mind, he may only be 19 years old, but he's about to enter his 3rd year of college basketball. And if you haven't seen the video before, I'll try to remember to link it in the description, or just follow me on IlliniCast because I've retweeted it a couple times. He's looking good. He's looking cut. He's looking quick. He looks like a man that knows that he's going to have to take on a significant leadership role on this Illini men's basketball team. Now, the other thing which most people were talking about was Mr. Ty Rodgers showing him developing a 3-point touch. Now, granted, these were wide open shots where there was no defender in front of him, and it seemed like it was just kind of set jump shots, almost as if he was just practicing like you and I would in a driveway. But just that image alone and seeing that ball go in for Ty is kind of uplifting. Now, Ty, I've said ever since I saw him in high school, I know he's going to ultimately go down as one of my favorite Illini players. He's super hardworking. He's at an A level in so many different skill sets in the NBA, in college basketball. However, he's got that one huge red flag where at times he becomes unplayable. And that's his, I don't know if it's inability to shoot or just not wanting to shoot. One of the most amazing stats that I think about is Ty Rodgers did not shoot a single 3-pointer last year. Not one single 3-pointer. And that you kind of saw other teams be able to game plan around, especially the very, very good teams. The Purdue team basically blew us out in that first meeting because of the way that they decided to guard Ty Rodgers. UConn, same thing. And it's tough because Ty is so vital to the team chemistry and what he provides in every other facet of the game that it's hard to go up against a quality opponent and just say, hey, we're going to sit one of our best basketball players. So this summer, I really think it's all about building Ty Rodgers' confidence level to a higher level, to the point where he's just willing to shoot that jump shot. Now, everyone knows, especially in his freshman year and for the most part in his sophomore year, I'd say the first half of his sophomore year, he struggled with his free throw shot. But his form is set. He's got a very pure shooting form. He's got a decent shooting form. And on the back half of his sophomore year, those free throws started going in certainly at a higher percentage than the year and a half before. So what that tells me is that it's not a skill thing. What that tells me that it might just be a mindset thing where Ty just has to trust himself. And I hope that he's in the gym shooting 500 jumpers a day, 750 free throws a day, just gaining confidence and not thinking about shooting. I want him to get to the point where when he gets the ball, he just shoots it. Because a junior Ty Rodgers, who we already know what to expect on the other facets of the game, if all of a sudden he adds a jump shot, you're talking about one of the best players in the Big Ten. Then you're talking about me second guessing whether this team can win the Big Ten or not. As I said, right now I think we can contend for it, but I don't think we're a serious contender for it. I think we'll probably finish in the top 4 or so. But if Ty Rodgers adds a jump shot to his game, Kylan Boswell makes the jump I just talked about, and I've already mentioned the freshman talent that we have coming in between Morez Johnson, potentially Will O'Reilly, and Kasparis, well, then that's just a whole lot of talent for me to say is not going to be able to win a Big Ten championship. I'm going to have to reconsider at this point. But I really hope that the video that we saw of Ty Rodgers wasn't just proper editing to make it look like he was developing these jump shots. It's not even one of those where I have to doubt that he's working on his game this summer. Some of you may not know he's actually hired a shot doctor. Like, he knows. He's well aware that this is an aspect of his game that needs to be worked on. But if there's one person who I don't really have to doubt the want, it's Ty Rodgers. And I just hope that he's able to get over this little mental handicap he seems to have of just catching the ball and shooting. Trust me, Ty. Eventually, it's going to go in. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So on Tuesday, word started leaking out by Rocco Miller, a college hoops analyst and a bracketologist for the Bracketeer, that the University of Arkansas and Illinois are contemplating scheduling a deal where they're going to be playing a game potentially on Thanksgiving next season. Now, Illinois itself already has a very daunting schedule. They're going to be playing Tennessee on December 14th, Alabama on November 20th, Missouri, the rivalry game at some point, and Duke sometime in February. But we know that Brad never really hesitates in trying to play the best. And you just have to trust him at this point. Would I feel more comfortable with last year's team playing this sort of schedule? Probably. This team that we're going to have next year is going to be a lot younger. And I do fear that playing against these top level talent, if there are blowouts here and there, you don't want to lose the locker room or just have them feel a little less confident. But that's kind of why you pay these coaches the big money. Now, a game against Arkansas, I mean, for so many reasons, it's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, Calipari just left the University of Kentucky to coach down there, and he would be facing up against his number one former assistant in Orlando Antigua, who decided not to follow Calipari to Arkansas and is now our number one guy at Illinois. You'll have old friend, Calipari's current number two assistant, Chin Coleman, who was formerly one of Brad Underwood's assistants. It'll be nice to see him. Again, you just talk more so about the rivalry. You have a potential of the Visich brothers going against each other, which in itself would be a fun watch, just a little family drama. I like it. It's nice knowing that Illinois is going to be a contender, that I don't think that we're going up against teams that we can't compete with. Illinois fans, we have very high expectations of what kind of program we want to run. And because of that, we should be battling some of the top teams in the country. We should be going up against the Dukes, the Tennessees, the Arkansas, the Alabamas. But at the same time, because we want them to think of Illinois in the same way that we think of them. That, hey, we're scheduling Illinois. This is not going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be a tough game. And, last year's Elite 8 run helped that. I think the talent that we're bringing in is certainly helping that. And hopefully having these tough matchups earlier on in the season will help this very young team grow and be a little bit more battle tested once March rolls around. And we were talking about the Big Ten tournament and, of course, the biggest tournament. Yes, that's all I have for you today on Locked On Illini. Thank you again for all tuning in. Please hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. We're trying to hit 500 subs, hopefully by the end of the month. I think it's still feasible. Tomorrow should be a fun show. Terrence Shannon Jr. practiced with the Chicago Bulls. What kind of potential is there for the Bulls to be drafting Shannon? Is there a fit? I'll be having a guest on to kind of discuss those fun topics, among many others. But until then, ILL, love you guys.